So, have you ever wondered why bad things happen to good people? Anybody ever wonder that? And really, what you're asking is, why do bad things happen to me? Or why do bad things happen to the ones that I love or care about? And if we get really serious about why we wonder and ask that question, why do bad things happen to so and so, so and so? If we get really serious and dive down to the root of that question, it's probably because we believe something that says, well, their life or my life isn't as good as it could be, and so therefore it must be because of a reason. And so we're wondering, what is that reason? Because if we were able to figure out the wrong choice that led to the troubled life, or the wrong belief that led to the disappointment that we wanted to get rid of, and we were able to determine what that wrong thing was, then we would be able to avoid it and therefore have a better life, right? So we ask this question, and it's deep seated. When we see somebody struggling, when we see somebody down and out, we wonder, what did they do to deserve that? Because it must have been something. And man, their life, from my perspective, from an outsider's perspective, looks like a wreck. They must have made some really bad choices. They must have had their heart in a really bad place. And my life, I don't know about you, but my life's going to be so much better than theirs is. And so I better figure out what they did so that I can avoid it on my own. My friends, Jesus tells us that that way of thinking is not even close to Christian. That way of thinking is what's called karma. And karma ain't biblical. Karma is not a thing. Jesus tells us something completely different. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. Spiritual blindness. And Jesus gives us a very practical miracle to illustrate what he is teaching us. And I hope today that we would be able to see this spiritual truth. And so the big question today is this: are you blind or not? Are you blind or not? And on the surface, you know the answer to this question because, well, can you see me? Not a rhetorical question. Can you see me? Okay, we're awake this morning. And we played some games before the service started. We stood all the way in the back, and I put this 1-point font on this gigantic screen, and you almost could see it. So you ain't blind, right? Or are you? Because if you think you can see, and for the majority of us today, now we have some people that struggle with eyesight, might be legally blind in our church, which is cool. But if you think you can see, which most of us, pay very close attention to this. Because Jesus just might want to help you see something that you've never seen before in your entire life. And for those of you who know you can't see, you know, I've got good news for you. Jesus gives sight to the blind. You're like, Kevin, what in the world is that? You went there at the intro? It's because this verse is the theme verse in John chapter 9 that we're going to be looking at today. The heart of it. Jesus told him, I entered this world to render judgment. I came into this world to put a divider line between every single person, a divider line between family members, a divider line between friends, a divider line between husband and wife, a divider line between co-workers, a divider. I came to render judgment. What? To give sight to the blind and to show those who think they see that they are blind. To give sight to the blind, or to those who think they can see, to tell them and show them that they're blind. And so we're going to encounter some important players in this story. Actors in this play, as Denny likes to say. And I want to wonder with you, which one are you? Who are you in this story? Are you the blind man? Because everyone knows he's a sinner. And he can't go to the temple to worship God. He's not worthy to worship God. There is something inherently wrong with him that doesn't allow him to be included in the religious community. He also doesn't know what Jesus can do. He doesn't believe in Jesus. He even gets a little smart with the authorities and gets thrown out of the synagogue, or if we want to contemporize it, the church. Not for something that they framed him with or made up, but he is thrown out for a sin in their eyes that he actually committed. Do you identify with the blind man? Or do you identify with the other people in the story? Maybe the disciples. The disciples asked Jesus a simple question based on something they read in the Bible. You ever done that before? Or how about the neighbors and the others involved in the story? They knew that this blind guy, they knew who he was, they had a relationship with him, and they knew what to do with him. They had a category, they had a way to interact with him, and they knew how to do that. What about the parents of this blind man? They knew how to behave in order to keep their good standing in the religious community. They knew what to say, they knew not what to say, and they valued religious community so much so. Or are you the Pharisees? Do you identify with the Pharisees? The Pharisees in this story were able to discern if someone is doing the right or the wrong thing. They kept all the focus on God, for he deserves all the glory. They focused on upholding the principles of the Word of God and standing on the authority of Scripture. They protected the religious community from allowing someone who actively promoted sin to be a part of it. So I ask you, which one of these people do you identify most with? And if you all wanted to say the blind man, I just ask you, are you serious? Really? The sinner who's not worthy to worship God? The outcast who doesn't know Jesus for 99% of the whole story? Really? But let me tell you, I think the story in John 9 reveals a God in Jesus Christ who wants you, who invites you, who will lead you to identify with the blind. And as your pastor, I plead with you and I beg you to identify with the blind man. I am the blind man. And I want you to experience life as the blind man experienced. Because again, here's the verse of the day. Jesus said, I entered into this world to render judgment, to give sight to the blind, or to show those who think they see that they're blind. So are you blind? Or do you think you can? The only two choices. Are you blind? Or do you think you can? I want to break that down for you a little bit more. What does that mean? what practically does it sound like to be a part of one of these two categories that Jesus comes and renders judgment between? And so I made these up. This is called application of the text, which sometimes when you're interpreting the text, this is my interpretation of that application, which could be wrong. So you got to take it for what it's worth, right? But I'm doing my best to try to make it relatable and put some depth to this story that Jesus is giving us. Are you blind or do you think you can see? So if you think you can see, it might sound like this. I've grown up in church my whole life. Of course I know the gospel. Everyone who goes to church or this church is certainly a Christian and on their way to heaven. Everyone who attends this church should behave in accordance to biblical standards because that's what I know to be right. Our world is an extremely sinful and terrible place, and I want to separate myself as far away from it as possible and isolate myself in all Christian arenas like school, work, friend groups, etc. People who are sinners deserve to feel the consequences of their sin. In fact, I just might celebrate when someone I know to be evil pays the price for their evil ways. Things you might hear or say or believe or think if you think you might be able to. So what does it sound like if you know you're blind? What does it sound like? It might sound like, I'm not sure I want to go to rehab again. I'm not sure about this church thing. I mean, I think God's speaking to me, and I know I need to grow in Him, but it seems like every time I try to go to church and get involved, it always backfires on me. I listen to the preacher say, turn with me in your Bibles to the book of John. And you say, I don't know where that is. Or my relationship history has been difficult, to say the least. I'm trying my best, but I just can't seem to get it right. The things we might say, think, believe, if we're blind. And on one hand, we might want to celebrate the ones that think they can see, right? I mean, they've been to church their whole life. They know the language. They know the words. They sing the songs. They do the right behavior that we've come to expect from a person that attends church. And we might also want to question the person who knows they're blind because really, you're an addict? You're not sure that church works? You don't read your Bible or know anything about it? And maybe they're really difficult to be around for relational reasons. But come on. Jesus shoots a piercing arrow through our heart and asks the question, are you blind or do you think you can see? He's come to give sight to the blind and to give those who think they can see, or that to tell them that they are. Let's open the Bible to John chapter 9. And we're going to quickly walk through verse by verse this story. John chapter 9, as Jesus was walking along, he saw a man who had been blind from birth. Rabbi, his disciples asked him, why has this man born blind? Was it because of his own sins or his parents' sins? The disciples have already made an assumption, a wrong assumption, but an assumption nonetheless, based on what they were taught, based on what they even read in the Old Testament, in their scriptures, and said, okay, Jesus, you're a great teacher. We're following you. Are you? Is it because of their sins or somebody else's? They're asking this question to Jesus. They're wondering. They're seeing what the point is in all of it. And it's not because of his sins or his parents' sins, Jesus said. You're wrong. You're asking the entirely wrong question, disciple. You're not even close. The answer is it happened. Why? So the power of God could be seen in him. That is why. We don't need to wonder what this person did to deserve this. We don't need to wonder what choice I made in the past that's impacting my life today. No, Jesus shows up into our life no matter what our situation is, and he does it, transforms your life, heals you, restores you, whatever it is that you need for his glory. That's why. And we must quickly carry out the task assigned to us by the one who sent us. The night is coming that no one can work, but while I'm here in the world, I am the light of the world. I am something so completely new and different that I am bringing light to the darkest places on this planet, and I am changing the game, Jesus says. And so what's he do? He spits on the ground. He made mud with the saliva, and he spread the mud over the man's eyes, and he told him, "Go wash yourself in the pool of Siloam," and Siloam means sent. And so the man went and washed and came back seeing. The man obeyed. His neighbors and others who knew him as a blind beggar asked each other, "Isn't this the man who used to sit and beg?" Some of them said he was. The others said, "No, he just looks like him." And the beggar kept saying, "Yes, I'm the same one." They couldn't even believe that this man could ever change. There was no category in their mind, the neighbors and the other people's mind, that this blind man, and you ever labeled somebody like that? You ever put somebody in a category and just, we don't even know this guy's name. They just said the blind man. Oh, I got a category for those people that do that. I got a category over here for them, and they're never going to change. I got a category, and it's fine. I'm happy with it. The blind man, you can't change. That's not you. No way. He's like, it's really me. It's really me. I'm not making this up. And so they asked him, "Who healed you? What happened?" Like, yeah, right. Come on, dude. And he told them, "The man they called Jesus made mud and spread it over my eyes and told me, 'Go to the pool of Siloam and wash yourself.' So I went and washed, and now I can see." They're like, "Where is he now?" they asked. And he said, "I don't know." He is honest. When's the last time you said, "I don't know"? Honesty. Real. I don't know. I have no clue. I have no clue. Then they took the man who had been blind to the Pharisees. They're the religious leaders, the judges, the people who determine what's good, right, wrong, and all the above. And because it was the, what day was it? The Sabbath day. And if you've been around our church for the last 3 months, you know Jesus loves poking the Sabbath. And I think the reason he loves it so much is it's so public and so visible. That if you're going to work on the Sabbath day, you know it. And he's showing them, yep, that's exactly what I'm doing. And the Sabbath day was the sign of the covenant, the Old Testament covenant that God had with Israel. And so Jesus was attacking like the thing that was the old way God used to relate to people. And so when Jesus makes clay, when he applies the clay to the guy's eyes, when he heals the guy, all 3 times he's working on the Sabbath day, which is against the law. And so Jesus had made the mud and healed him, and the Pharisees asked the man all about it, and he told them, "Put the mud over my eyes, and when I washed it away, I could see." You know, Jesus, when he heals blind people in the Bible, he does it differently every time. You know that? And I think the reason he changes the method is so that we don't get married to the method. We got to get married to the person that transforms. And if there was a method, if he did it the same way every time, you know what everyone on this planet would be doing? Mastering that method so that they could do the same thing. And it's not about the method. It's about the Savior, the Messiah. It's about Jesus. And so some of the Pharisees said, "This man, Jesus, is not from God, for he is working on the Sabbath." He's breaking the law. He can't be from God, others said. But how can an ordinary sinner do such miraculous signs? So there was deep division of opinion among them. When we get focused on the how, when we get focused on the method, when we get focused on anything other than Jesus, what comes next is division. They're divided of an opinion about something that is totally unrelated to the actual problem. And then the Pharisees, again, questioned the man who had been blind and demanded, "What's your opinion about this man who healed you?" And the man replied, "I think he must be a prophet." And you should say, wrong-o. You don't even know about this guy who healed you. You're wrong in your interpretation, understanding your relationship with Jesus, blind guy. But you got to see in this story how his understanding of Jesus grows over time. It happens over time with different interactions. It's amazing to see. The Jewish leaders still refused to believe the man had been born blind and could now see, so they called his parents. They asked him, "Is this your son? Was he born blind? And if so," here's the key word, "how can he now see?" How? His parents replied, "We know this is our son and that he was born blind, but we don't know how he can see or who healed him. Ask him." He's old enough to speak for himself. His parents said this because they were afraid of the Jewish leaders who had announced that anyone saying that Jesus was the Messiah would be expelled from the synagogue, and that's why they said, "He's old enough, ask him." They're afraid to tell the truth because they want to protect their good standing within the religious community. And so for the second time, they called the man who had been blind and told him God should get the glory for this, because we know this man Jesus is a sinner. God should get the glory. The Pharisees were all about that, which sounds so right, doesn't it? "I don't know whether he's a sinner," the man replied, "but I know this. I was blind, and now I can. I don't know hardly anything. I don't know why you're questioning me. I don't know why I'm here. I don't know why this is such a big deal. All I know is that I was blind, and now I can see." But verse 26, "But what did he do?" they asked. What's that word again? How did he heal you? They are so focused on trying to catch Jesus in breaking the law by what they did, they missed Jesus altogether. They were so focused on the how that they missed the who. "Look," the man exclaimed, "I told you once. Didn't you listen? Why didn't you hear me again? Do you want to become his disciples too?" I love this guy. Me and him would be friends. Then they cursed him and said, "You are his disciple, but we are the disciples of Moses. We know God spoke to Moses, but we don't even know where this man comes from." Oh, there is such confidence in these religious leaders' voices, and they don't even care enough to know where he comes from. And this blows the guy away. Why? That's very strange. The man replied, "He healed my eyes, and yet you don't know where he comes from?" We know that God doesn't listen to sinners, but he is ready to hear those who worship him and do his will. Ever since the world began, no one has been able to open the eyes of someone born blind. If this man were not from God, he could not have done it. "You were born a total sinner," they answered. "Are you trying to teach us? Are you crazy? We're the religious leaders. We're in charge. Who do you think you are?" And they threw him out of the synagogue. They had their minds made up. And there was absolutely nothing. No new information, no new pursuit on trying to figure out all the facts of where Jesus actually came from. They didn't care. They didn't want to talk about it. They didn't want to learn about it. And so when Jesus heard what happened, what did he do? Set it out in red. He went to go find the guy who got kicked out of the church. He pursued him. In our language, you might have called him. He showed up at their house, brought them a meal, fixed the problem that they were having with their computer system or their car. And yeah, some crazy stuff went down, but Jesus showed up in his life outside of the normal boundaries. And if there's one thing I've learned over the years that's really heavy on my heart, is we all have kind of normal boundaries with people. Meaning, if we see him at church, we're kind of friends, but if we don't see him at church, forget about it. We might see him at work, and that's cool if we work together, but then if we don't, that's a different story. Or we have family gatherings, and we get to see our family at family gatherings, and then the rest, years, in my case, years, haven't talked. We have these circles and boundaries that we set up that, oh, we're good friends with somebody. Really? What happens the moment that they are on the other side of that boundary line? Are you like Jesus, who crosses over and finds the one who's been outcast, who's been left out on their own? Jesus went to find the man and asked him, do you believe in the Son of Man? The man answered, who is he, sir? I want to believe in him. You have seen him, Jesus said, and he is speaking to you. Yes, Lord, I believe, the man said, and he worshiped Jesus. And Jesus told him, I entered this world to render judgment, to give sight to the blind, and to show those who think they see they're blind. Some of the Pharisees who were standing nearby heard him and asked, are you saying we're blind? Are you seriously saying that I'm blind? Do you know who you're talking to? I have studied my entire life. I have memorized all of the Bible. I follow all of the laws. Jesus, are you telling me I am blind? And Jesus says in the rhetorical conversation, absolutely. Blinded by your pride, blinded by your self-righteousness, blinded by your tradition, blinded by your false interpretations of the Scripture. Because if you were blind, you wouldn't be guilty. But you remain guilty because you claim you can. Friends, we all have blind spots. We all have blind spots. So without Jesus, all we're left with is subjective morality. Ailments are a result of sin or bad choices, so we must figure out, what is sin? Can we avoid that sin? We need the answers to these questions so that we can make sure our life is better by avoiding the things that make it bad. And we also learn how to manage sin so that its effects don't impact our lives. But come on, somebody. With Jesus, he makes you